What's good, guys? Welcome back to the last minute predictions, guys. We're going to be talking about each and every single one of these fights, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, talking about UFC Vegas 99. So, we're going to go over this really fast, and it should be a fun card. We got Francis Ngannou versus Renan Ferreira tomorrow, and then we got UFC 308. So, let's get it. Robelis Despaigne versus Austen Lane. Austen Lane is a plus 260. Robelis Despaigne is a minus 360. We know as of yesterday, this fight has been all over the place. Now Robelis Despaigne is a minus 335, but yesterday he was a minus 360. So the odds have dropped for him, and a plus 270 for Austen Lane. One thing we have to look at is the under 2.5 has changed. The under 1.5 and over 1.5 was perfect for this fight. Now that we're looking at this fight, it's not there no more. The prop is over 50 seconds or under 50 seconds. Over 1.5 was plus 205. Under 1.5 was minus 280. Robelis by KO or sub, minus 280. Robelis by KO on points, minus 300. Will this fight go the distance? No, minus 1300. Lane by decision, plus 1400. Lane by sub, plus 490. Lane by KO, plus 490. We know that it's a pick your poison type fight. Austen Lane's either going to wrestle this guy for 15 minutes or Robelis Despaigne is going to knock this motherfucker out. One thing we have to pay really close to consideration is the over 0.5. The fact that they've changed this prop to the over 50 seconds or under 50 seconds, whenever you see 0.5, take the over, bro, because this is not ending in 50 seconds. Watch me eat my words, but this is going to be insane. The fact that it's an over 50 second prop means that these guys are trying to bait you into a trap. I think this is a 1-800-gambler type of fight just to start off the card. In my opinion, if you want to take the best prop, take Robelis Despaigne by KO and put him in a parlay. In my opinion, method of victory or Robelis Despaigne by KO is minus 250. It's not that bad, but we know Austen Lane is a very good grappler and he could grapple his way to a win. I'm going to be taking the over 50 seconds as well. We rarely see this on FanDuel, so I'm going to jump on it. Over 50 seconds. Does this fight go over 150 seconds? Yes, it goes over at a minus 280. It's too juiced. In my opinion, we all know the best prop is Robelis by KO at a minus 250. It's going to be a close fight. We look at both of these guys. We know that Austen Lane was able to take down a guy like Jonathan Denise with a hard football type takedown, and he was able to control him for the whole first round. Then into the second round, he ended up getting knocked out. But we saw him have success and able to control a guy for an entire round. We'll see how he does against Robelis Despaigne. It should be a good fight. I'm going to be going Robelis Despaigne by KO at a minus 250. That's my best prop. You know, with a guy like this, guys, we need to see more. We need to see more fights of him in order to tell where he actually is in the UFC. It is a great way to start up the card. Elise Ardelean versus Melissa Martinez. Elise is a plus 104. Melissa is a minus 132. Right now, she's a minus 142, so the odds have increased and favored Melissa Martinez. Elise is a plus 120, and we have to pay attention to how this fight is more likely going to go the distance. We have 3 women MMA fights. We have 3 women MMA fights back to back to back. May this be a blessing in disguise or a curse dressed up as a treat. I think this is a blessing in disguise. A lot of these fighters and a lot of these cappers think that every single fight is going to go the distance. We have to mention both the overs and unders. Over 2.5, minus 370. Under 2.5, plus 260. It could happen. Elise is a good fighter. She's very good. One thing we have to realize is Elise stepped up on short notice in her last fight and got a lot of criticism because a lot of people felt like she only got her job because of her followers, but she proved against Shannon Banon. She fought Zhang Wei Li. She fought Diana Belbita. She proved on Shannon Banon on short notice that she's good. In this case, though, Melissa Martinez is taking this fight on short notice. We know that she's already prepared. All these fighters made weight except for Joselyne Edwards. And with that being said, I'm going to be taking Elise Ardelean to win this fight. Melissa by points is a plus 135. Elise by points is a plus 175. So it's more favored that Melissa Martinez is going to win this fight by unanimous decision. But we know that this is going to be a very close fight because it's women's MMA. Melissa's powerful, good takedown defense. Her grappling is okay. She works in some trips. But if she doesn't get the takedown, she's not good at her get-up game. She's coming back after a 2-year layoff. And because of the knee injury, I think Elise Ardelean has a better chance than a lot of people expect her to have. So, Elise had a couple of takedowns in her last fight. She's a dog. Constant forward pressure. Takedowns can work for Elise in favor. And I hope Melissa becomes the favorite. She's a bigger favorite now. So, I think I might hammer Elise Ardelean to win this fight by unanimous decision. But I'm going to just take money line. Very good fight. Over 2.5 should hit. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 340. But you know the odds change overnight. So, will this fight go the distance? Yes, is now at a minus 310. Yesterday, overnight, it was at a minus 340. So, the fact that it's at a minus 310... you save like 30 points. Give me Elise to win and beat Melissa Martinez. Elise is bad. Dude, I'm getting sick, bro. So I'm going to be going a little bit faster than usual. Here we go. Jessica Penne versus Elise Reed. One thing I want to mention was Jessica Penne is actually, she looks like she's younger than Elise Reed, which is insane considering that Jessica Penne is 41 and she's 31. They face off. Jessica Penne is an OnlyFans model. Jessica Penne is a plus 154 now, and Elise Reed is a minus 184. When I look at this fight, one thing I automatically like to say is Elise is a busy striker with incredible pace, decent power, decent grappling. Hot or cold, though, if you look at her fight history, it's win-loss, win-loss. Win over Corey McKenna, who just lost to Julia Palastri last Saturday, then dismantled Sam Hughes. Big upset win over Melissa Martinez. She had a knockdown, 3 takedowns, and then lost to Lana Luke Bomi. Lupita Godinez is pretty good. I can trust Elise Reed to win, but she's the better fighter. She should comfortably win. I'm almost positive a 41-year-old Jessica is not going to perform. I think Jessica is here for a payday. She's not here looking to grind for a win and work her way up. Based off of what we saw in her last fight, I think it's decent value for Elise Reed. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 225. We have to mention the over 2.5 and unders. This fight could end under. We could get an unexpected finish, but I think if there's a finish in one of the women's MMA fights, it's going to be in the next one, not this one. But we have to mention the under. Under 2.5 is a plus 210. Over 2.5 is a minus 280. So it has reduced since yesterday. And will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 225. I think it's money, guys. We can make an easy parlay. Will this fight go the distance? Yes. And Elise Reed at a minus 184. I think I'm going to take money line, but if I want to take something specific, give me Elise Reed by points at a plus 100. Elise by KO or on points to play it safe, minus 175. Elise by sub or points, minus 120. Penne by sub or points, plus 160. Penne by points, plus 360. Elise by points, plus 100. I think the best prop for this is Elise Reed to win this fight by unanimous decision. In my opinion, I think this is going to be a 29-28 after she loses maybe the second round. But if Elise Reed is Elise Reed, who I think she is, she should win this fight comfortably 30-27. It's going to be a good fight. And I love me some Jessica Penne. Next fight. This is the only fighter to miss weight. Shout out to AJ. He said that she looks like Gilbert Durino. That's fucked up. That's fucked up, bro. That was funny, though. Joselyne Edwards versus Tamires Vidal. Joselyne Edwards versus Tamires Vidal. Joselyne Edwards was a minus 280 yesterday, but now when we look at the odds, she reduced to a minus 250 because she was one of the only fighters to miss weight. Tamires Vidal is a plus 205. Yesterday, she was a bigger dog. Method of victory, I think this fight goes to distance. Joselyne Edwards by points is a minus 140. Total rounds over 2.5, minus 430. But we know Tamires Vidal does have a KO, on her record. And if she's going to get a KO, it could be here, or if she gets a finish. We never know. Or if Vidal gets finished by Edwards. We know both of these fighters lack the finishing ability, but the under 2.5 is a plus 300. I don't think it's likely. I think if there's a chance, we go double chance. Joselyne Edwards by KO or on points, minus 210. Joselyne Edwards by submission or on points, minus 180 if you want to reduce your odds and play the safe game. In my opinion, I'm going to be taking Joselyne Edwards by points at a minus 140. I think it's the best prop, and I think it's going to be a very close fight until we get out of the first and second round. I don't like how Joselyne Edwards pushed her. She ends up starting fights with everybody. She started fights with Aline Perez as well. So maybe Vidal wins this fight just out of, spite. But I do favor Joselyne Edwards to win this fight, specifically by points at a minus 140. But Joselyne Edwards at a minus 250 is parlayable as well. But if I want to parlay a girl like Joselyne Edwards, I'm going to take her a double chance. Joselyne Edwards by submission or on points at a minus 180. I know submission is out the table and it's not even there. But just to reduce the odds on Joselyne Edwards, we reduce her by 60 points. So it's not bad to take a double chance, especially if you know that this fight 9 times out of 10 goes the distance. Give me Joselyne Edwards to win this fight by 29-28 unanimous decision after a hard-fought victory, a 15-minute battle. Beautiful, beautiful fight. I can't wait for this next one. Brad Katona versus Gene Matsumoto. Gene Matsumoto was a minus 235 yesterday, and then overnight he reduced to a minus 225. Plus 186 for Brad Katona. Now that we look at this fight, Gene Matsumoto looks ripped as hell. He looks like he got a lot skinnier and a lot leaner than what he used to look like. Brad Katona's a plus 188. When I look at this fight, will this fight go the distance? Over 2.5 is favored at a minus 370. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 300. Under 2.5 is a plus 260. Double chance is my favorite. Gene Matsumoto by KO or on points, minus 165. Gene Matsumoto by submission or on points at a minus 155. I sprinkled both of those just so that way we could get it, because you never know if Gene Matsumoto is going to get a submission. He submitted Dan Argueta when Dan Argueta shot 9 takedowns, controlled him for a little bit, and then finally Gene Matsumoto was able to find a guillotine, so we know Gene Matsumoto can pull it out the gutter. Brad Katona is a heavy wrestler, has wrestled guys like Jesse Butler to a unanimous decision, and he's not afraid to go 15 minutes of boring wrestling. He's not afraid of that, and that's a guy who's going to shoot off the fence. He's going to shoot off the rip. I wouldn't be surprised if he shoots in the first round, start off really strong, and the over and the plus 3.5 is perfect in my opinion. The plus 3.5 is perfect because let's say Brad Katona comes off strong in the first round. Bam, he wins the first round. Gene Matsumoto can win the second and third. Let's say Gene Matsumoto wins the first and second. Brad Katona starts off heavy and strong in the third round. The plus 3.5 hits at a minus 130. I think minus 130 is perfect for Brad Katona. Brad Katona wrestled Jesse Butler hard. Gene has a black belt and very good Muay Thai stance. These guys match up very well. Gene by points is a minus 105. Brad by points is a plus 280. I think it's one of those props. I definitely see this fight going the distance. These guys are tough as nails. Gene by KO or on points, minus 170. Gene by sub or on points, minus 160. Same thing. Give me Gene Matsumoto to win this fight by points at a minus 105. And if I have to choose one of the double chances, give me Gene Matsumoto to win this fight by KO or on points at a minus 165. It should be a good fight, but never throw out the submission. We know he won by submission his last fight, so I sprinkled both of them. So give me Gene Matsumoto by submission or on points at a minus 155, and Gene Matsumoto by KO or on points at a minus 165. It's going to be a very good fight. And don't be afraid to take 2 slips, guys. Don't be afraid. Because you never know with a guy like Gene Matsumoto if he's going to finish this guy or if he wins by unanimous decision. No matter what, you get your money and well-deserved. This is an amazing fight as well. Matheus Nicolau versus Almabayev. Almabayev is a minus 215. Matheus Nicolau is a plus 180. We have to mention how Matheus Nicolau has never lost a unanimous decision in the UFC. This guy is a beast. And if you can't finish him, he's more than likely going to win a unanimous decision. Matheus Nicolau was a plus 160 earlier in the week, and now he's a plus 180. Almabayev is a chain grappling fiend. Striking isn't his first love, but the chin on Matheus, back-to-back KO losses, is not looking good. I have a 2-leg parlay on Almabayev and Robelis Despaigne, which is not bad. And then we have Matheus Nicolau doing everything he can to stay relevant. He's on a downslope. He's a good clean striker, very technical, good grappling, but no chin whatsoever. Even though he has 10 takedowns in the UFC, 7 of his UFC wins. He has 10 takedowns in 7 UFC wins. In order to get the takedown, he needs to strike, and you need a chin in order to strike. In my opinion, I think this fight is more than likely going to go the distance. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 235. I don't see Almabayev being able to finish him. If he is, it's by KO in my opinion. Total rounds over 2.5, minus 300. If you want to take the double chance, this is where I like it. This is where I shine. Double chance. Almabayev by submission or on points, minus 160. Almabayev by KO or on points, minus 150. You turn a minus 200 into a minus 150 or minus 160. In my opinion, I think submission is more likely than KO. So give me Almabayev to win this fight by submission or on points at a minus 160. And if I want to get real fancy with it, give me Almabayev by points at a plus 105. I think Matheus Nicolau should look a lot better than he has in his last 2 fights. He's faced the top echelon of the division in Alex Perez and Brandon Royval. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes 15 minutes and loses a unanimous decision. We know, though, that his chin is very susceptible, but we know a guy like Almabayev is not known for having his hands. In my opinion, I think Almabayev is going to grapple him. We know Matheus Nicolau has very good BJJ as well, though. So if there's anybody who has the best submission defense, it's a guy like Matheus Nicolau. So if you really, really want to look into it, KO out of all the finishes might be the most likely outcome. Very good fight, very tough fight. You know what I say with the double chances, just take both of them. What could go wrong? Just take both of them. You get both of them at a minus 150, minus 160. Just take both of them, in my opinion. But if you have to choose one of the double chances, I like Almabayev by submission or KO. I mean by submission or on points. Darren Elkins versus, this is the Lincoln Memorial Dog of the Week. Daniel Pineda versus Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins is a minus 114 now, so he's favored. Daniel Pineda is a minus 106. Earlier this week, Daniel Pineda was a minus 120. Now he's the underdog at a minus 106. It is insane that we're hearing this and I'm seeing this right now. The odds have completely flipped. This guy is no longer an underdog. Daniel Pineda by KO plus 250. Darren Elkins by points plus 350. Darren Elkins by KO plus 460. Darren Elkins by submission plus 460. We know that Daniel Pineda has very good submissions as well. So Daniel Pineda by submission is a plus 800. In my opinion, this fight is probably going to go and end inside the distance. Over 2.5 is plus 122. Under 2.5 is a minus 154. Will this fight go the distance? No, at a minus 215. If you want to go method, if you want to go double chance, let's say we go Darren Elkins by KO or on points, plus 155. Darren Elkins by submission or on points at a plus 155 as well. In my opinion, I'm not going to get fancy with it. I'm going to just take Darren Elkins money line. I think Daniel Pineda is really strong, and we know when it gets sloppy, when it gets grimy, when it gets ugly, we know that this fight could be more competitive than a lot of people expect it to, and the over 2.5 could hit if this fight gets really, really sloppy, and a guy like Darren Elkins is just controlling a guy like Daniel Pineda over and over again. This card is amazing so far. Honestly, Daniel Pineda isn't young either. He's 39 years old. He's a feast or famine fighter. He's been to 2 decisions in his 44-fight career. He comes out fast, incredibly dangerous for about 3 minutes, like Big Angelo in bed. That's what I wrote in my notes. But we know that the over 1.5 is a minus 158, and we know that it changed. It changed. If you took the over 1.5, it was a minus 158. If you took the under, it's a plus 124. We know the overs are now over 2.5 or under, which I don't like. I like over 1.5s better. Elkins should win this fight. He should win this fight comfortably. I'm not going to get fancy with it. I'm going to take Elkins to win this fight by unanimous decision. Or inside the distance. Elkins could win this fight inside the distance. I'm just taking money line. Let's go. Now, this is a fight that got rescheduled. Not rescheduled, but a new opponent was added to this card. His name is Cameron Smotherman versus Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley's a minus 500. Cameron Smotherman is making his UFC debut. And I like this because he stepped in for Brady Hiestand. And I think this is way better for Jake Hadley. One thing we have to mention is that this guy is completely new to the UFC. So how much tape study could a guy like Jake Hadley do? I don't know if he did a lot, to be honest. Over 2.5 plus 116. Under 2.5 minus 148. So it's favored that this fight ends inside the distance. If you want to go method of victory, Jake Hadley by points plus 210. Jake Hadley by KO plus 250. Jake Hadley by submission plus 250. In my opinion, Jake Hadley at a minus 550 is parlayable, but I'm not going to be touching this fight. We don't know too much about Smotherman, and we know a guy like Jake Hadley sometimes needs to get the wrestling going. If I have to choose one of these poisons, give me Jake Hadley to win this fight by submission at a plus 250. It's going to be a good fight, and this could either be very beneficial for a guy like Jake Hadley or be very detrimental, because this is a very fast switch-up, considering he was supposed to fight Brady Hiestand. Lock of the week, baby. Charles Johnson at a minus 225 versus Sumudaerji at a plus 180. This fight has not moved at all. The bookies know that a lot of people are hammering Charles Johnson, and Charles Johnson is a minus 225. I'm surprised he's not a 250 or a minus 300. This is insane in my opinion. And will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 172. Total rounds over 2.5 at a minus 215, more than likely. Method of victory, in my opinion. Sumudaerji is a guy who is really good, in my opinion, when it comes to the striking. battle and when it comes to his boxing, when it comes to the fundamental basics of MMA. But I think a guy like Charles Johnson is too quick, too clean, and too smooth for a guy like Sumudaerji. Sumudaerji is the taller fighter. He should be longer with reach. But we know a guy like Charles Johnson is pretty tall for a flyweight as well. Charles Johnson's coming off of that KO off of Joshua Van. Beautiful KO. And we know Charles Johnson is going to make his be his fourth fight in 2024. So he's won 3 fights in 2024 already. So if he wins this one, this is going to be his 4th win in 2024. In my opinion, when I look at all the props, Charles Johnson by points plus 145. Charles Johnson by submission plus 340. Sumudaerji in all of his losses has gotten finished. And he's known to get finished by submission. Sumudaerji by points is a plus 310. I don't think that's likely. And Charles Johnson by KO is a plus 850, which is insane. In my opinion, I think if you like the double chance, Charles Johnson by KO or on points at a minus 105 is not bad. And Charles Johnson by submission or on points at a minus 170 is not bad as well. If I want to take one of these props, give me Charles Johnson to win this fight by unanimous decision at a plus 145. But it's going to be a close fight. So, double chance, you can never go wrong with a double chance, baby. Give me Charles Johnson to win this fight. I'll take money line. I'll take him to win by decision. And I'll take the double chances for him to win by KO or unanimous decision. It's at a minus 105, I believe. Let me just make sure. Double chance, Charles Johnson by KO or on points, minus 105. Perfect. Let's go. Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. This is a fight that I've been waiting to see, man. When this fight got announced, I was excited for this fight. We know a guy like Kyler Phillips has put on masterclasses against Pedro Munoz. Notable performances, very notable. In my opinion, my favorite performance from him was from his Dana White Contender Series. Rob Font is a plus 370, and Kyler Phillips is a minus 520, which is insane considering he was a minus 430 yesterday. Over 2.5 is favored at a minus 230. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 200. I think it's more likely. Method of victory, Kyler Phillips by points, minus 130. If you really, really, really want to risk it, you could take Kyler Phillips by KO if you really want to be a degen. Kyler Phillips by KO is a plus 500. Kyler Phillips by submission is a plus 500 as well. If you want to be a degen, you can sprinkle it. In my opinion, the best prop is Kyler Phillips by points at a minus 130. I think it's more likely out of all the props. But you can't go wrong with sprinkling Kyler Phillips by KO. We know it could happen. If we want to go crazy, if you think this fight ends inside the distance, under 2.5 is a plus 178. Over 2.5 favorite at a minus 230. Double chance, Kyler Phillips by KO or on points, minus 240. Kyler Phillips by submission or on points, minus 240. It turns a minus 550 into a minus 200. In my opinion, if I have to choose one of the double chances, I'm going to be taking Kyler Phillips by KO or on points at a minus 240. So give me Kyler Phillips to win this fight. And I'm going to get fancy with it. I'm going to go Kyler Phillips to win this fight by unanimous decision at a minus 130. But we know double chance is a lifesaver. Very good fight. Very good fight on our hands. Main event time, baby. It's already that time. Anthony Hernandez versus Michel Pereira. When I look at this fight, I've been all over the place with this fight, man. I've been all over the place with this fight. Michel Pereira is huge. Comes from 170. Missed weight against Wonder Boy and then had to move to 185. Since then has won 3 times. And he's going to be in his very first middleweight main event against Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez is minus 140. Michel Pereira is a plus 114. We know that in my 6 best bets in Lock of the Week, the bonus was the under 2.5 at a minus 144. The under 2.5 is a minus 154 now. It seems that the bookies are on this. And it's favored to end inside the distance. Will this fight go the distance? No, at a minus 650. If you want to use it as a parlay, put your most confident picks and put that this fight doesn't go the distance at a minus 650. I think it's too juiced, though. In my opinion, if we want to play the best play, just take money line on one of them. We know that Michel Pereira could win by KO. Anthony Hernandez to win by submission is a plus 190. Michel Pereira to win by KO is a plus 185. The odds have reduced. And they have changed all over the place. If we go double chance doesn't really help considering money line is so close. Plus 140 for Michel Pereira to win by KO on points. And Anthony Hernandez to win by submission or on points is a plus 115. We know that money line is Anthony Hernandez at a minus 140 and plus 114 for Michel Pereira. One thing I really want to mention was that the odds have flipped. The odds have changed. Anthony Hernandez was a minus 134 yesterday, and he's now a minus 140. Yesterday, Michel Pereira was a plus 110, and now he's a plus 114. And we have to mention that the under 2.5 changed as well, more juice, and the KO as well. Pereira by KO at a plus 180 has changed to plus 185 for Pereira by KO. So the bookie seemed like it's not as likely as it used to be. I think if Michel Pereira is going to win this fight, it's by KO in my opinion, or unanimous decision. But we don't want to get fancy. Let's just take money line. We have to mention both of these fighters are very good. Now that we have the main event, this is going to make a great main event. Both of these fighters are on 8-fight win streaks, and both of them are ranked number 13 and 14. So let's start with the dog, number 14. Michel Pereira, absolute beast. The majority of his career was at 170, but he kept missing weight. They kicked him, and now he has a new regimen for 185. Has 3 dominant wins in a row, all of them coming inside the distance. Even though he has 42 professional fights, this guy is only 31 years old. He looks old, but this guy is not old. He's got plenty of career ahead of him. And he has solid hands, solid BJJ, and he has incredible athleticism. His athleticism was on full display in his last fight where he ragdolled Ihor Potierra. He did a backflip on his body, and he subbed him. Anthony Hernandez, he's a good grappler, averages almost 7 takedowns per fight, solid wrestling, real entries. He's a BJJ black belt. Although he is willing to strike, that's not his path to victory. He's riding a 5-fight win streak, with the most recent being a submission win over dangerous striker Roman Kopylov, who just beat Cesar Almeida. Anthony Hernandez is different. He's definitely good. I see how people can favor Michel Pereira to win this fight. Flashy striking. Fluffy Hernandez needs to grapple. He probably can't match the speed or power. He has to hope Pereira gasses, and he has gassed before early against Tristan Cannoli, but we know that was years ago. He's been to plenty of decisions. We've seen him strike and be more dynamic and dangerous, but I'm going to go Fluffy Hernandez by submission. Give me one. I'm going to go Fluffy Hernandez, and I'm going to go Fluffy Hernandez by submission, but we know that sometimes the best thing is just to take money line on either side. We don't want to get fancy, and we just want to make a playable parlay. Give me Anthony Hernandez to win this fight. Hernandez showed in the Rodolfo Vieira fight that he can get put out and he can still come back. This guy got the shit kicked out of him, and he stayed tough and ended up winning that fight. He's always in shape, and he doesn't quit. In my opinion, I think the under 2.5 at a minus 155 is likely. Not only is it likely, it's more than likely going to happen tomorrow at a minus 154 to be exact. Give me Anthony Hernandez to win this fight at a minus 140, specifically inside the distance. If I want to go and get fancy, I'm going to go Anthony Hernandez by submission. This is going to be a close fight. We know a guy like Michel Pereira is a first-round KO guy, more than likely going to get a first, second, or third-round KO. If not a first or second or third-round KO, it's more than likely going to be Anthony Hernandez. Michel Pereira early, Anthony Hernandez late. Give me Anthony Hernandez to win this fight after a hard-fought brawl and he gets dropped. It's going to be a good fight, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. This was the last-minute predictions. Sorry if I was a little all over the place. My nose is getting stuffy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Give me Anthony Hernandez for the win. Money line, baby. Let's get it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.